Hey guys, it's John, and welcome back to another edition of Still Scary Sunday, the series in which we play older horror games and see how they hold up in 2019. So a couple weeks ago I played the first Exmortis game, and now I'm playing the sequel, Exmortis 2, which came out in 2006. And I have fond memories of this one. There's gonna be a lot of reading, so just be prepared for that. I'll try to keep it interesting with different voices and stuff, but yeah, I remember this one being more eventful than the first, and I think this was my favorite flash horror game that I've played of its era. The hordes of Exmortis swept across the earth, a plague unlike anything humanity had ever encountered. In their final stand, a handful of mankind's last survivors stood their ground, defiant of their inevitable fate. In those last moments, as death took these brave souls, a stranger passing in the distance put his plan into motion. So that typeface there is Papyrus, and it's used throughout the entire game. I'm a little annoyed about that, but we're gonna ignore it for now. The sky has been stained blood red since the Exmortis started systematically eradicating mankind from the face of the earth. Turned the sky red, huh? Were they bleeding into the atmosphere? This door leads inside. I only hope that beyond its darkness I will find some survivors of the battle with the Exmortis. Someone has written, "Where is your God now?" When the Exmortis emerged, faith in our religions quickly turned into spiritual resentment. Wow, that was fast. This abandoned church was to be the resistance rendezvous point after the final stand against the Exmortis. So quite a lot has happened since the first game. An old automobile is rather awkwardly parked next to the church. Huh. Well, I think I'm good. Let's go inside. Here we are, inside the church. Holy shit. There may be nothing living left in here, but I am definitely not alone. It isn't of the Exmortis, though. I would be dead now if it was. So we got bloody footprints leading to the confessional booth. Let's go ahead and check in there. Whatever it was that just walked in, it entered this confessional booth, and it doesn't seem to want to let me into this particular booth. Let's go into the other side. This side of the booth is empty. Something or someone is clearly in the other booth. Here we are. This is the door to the confessional booth I am in. Now that I'm in here, something seems to be holding the door shut. Great. A statuette of the Christian Messiah hangs suspended on the wall in this booth. Not really an odd thing to see in a place of worship such as this. Yes, it is definitely in character for there to be a cross hanging in a church. The window looks through to the other booth. Whoever is in that other booth is looking back at me. What could he want? Let's click on him.
Mr. Hannay, please sit, for my time here is limited. I take it the battle didn't go as planned. An unfortunate inevitability, I'm afraid. Nevertheless, it has aided and allowed me the passage I required to make contact with you. The Exmortis know you're here, so I must be brief. All might seem lost to you in this dark hour, however, I am here to bring you hope when you have none. I have here with me a parchment which you will do well to read carefully.
Good.
The knowledge within
Reading.
the pages will shed light on your path towards removing the scourge and allowing mortal man to begin rebuilding. I don't doubt that you are wondering if I am trustworthy or not. However, at this point, neither you nor the remaining fragments of humanity have anything left to forfeit. I'm afraid mankind's fate rests on your next course of action. For your sake, I hope you make the right choice.
Thanks, man. Thanks for the well wishes. Bye. Whatever was in the next booth, it wasn't human. However, everything he spoke of made sense. I guess I really have no choice but to trust him. For now. Alright. Can we leave now? The door now seems to be working okay. If the Exmortis really do know that I am here, I should be making a quick exit before they arrive. So if you're wondering what the Exmortis is, if you didn't see the first video or you never experienced the first game, basically it's like an ancient evil race of demons that we unleashed upon the world unknowingly by completing a ritual in the first game, I think. Never really been big on the story here, but this is the booth that thing was in. The door seems to be working now. Let's go inside. Wow. A vile stench hangs in the air that was trapped by this enclosed booth. If I can't see that entity, at least next time I'll know. I can smell him coming. Ba-dum-tsh. You smell, dude. A pile of bound papers rests on the stool. This must be the parchment the entity implored I examine. Prophecy of the Hand. So, and the last game we played as the Hand of Exmortis, the one that brought about the end of the world, as it were. So let's go ahead and, I guess this is just it. I guess it's only 2 pages. One night I dreamed. A darkness once dormant, patiently waiting, was now emerging from the shadows. A light growing brighter from beyond a dark chasm, wrapping around a pillar stained with ancient symbols. Many millions of shrieks and screams engulfed me where I stood until I felt the burn rise up from the floor and it too consumed me. My soul ripped from my shell was flattened and became a pathway. Wait, my soul ripped from my shell was flattened and became a pathway. It's just awkwardly written. It became a link between the ancient world and my reality. Unspeakable monstrosities crossed over and began devouring every living thing. And then a fiend of unspeakable size and malevolence looked at me and smiled as he crossed into my world. He introduced himself as the Ancient of the Exmortis. Vlau. Not really sure how to pronounce it. Vlau? Oh wait, there's more of it. I could see myself, a tattered, broken man suddenly imbued with an insatiable power. I felt a sudden drive to destroy all that I knew and return it all to how it used to be before light and life. I saw myself become the Hand of Exmortis. I saw what was, what is, and what will be. I then saw a strange dagger plunge deep into me. A man holding it, a mere mortal, and something else in the shadows. But then the darkness took me as I fell to my knees and the pathway crumbled, my soul lost forever. I don't dare to dream again for fear of what other horrors await. Oh. So sorry to hear that. What was that? That was a sound. Light pours into the church through a hole in the roof. Through it, I can see the crimson sky, which serves as a constant reminder of what has transpired. The statue of Christ looks over the room, which was once filled with his faithful followers. What I see now is all that is left of them. Oh, okay, so nothing. So you see nothing. Each pew is covered in a thick layer of dust. There hasn't been a living thing here in a very long time. Can I be the only survivor of the battle? So this is quite a bit of time after the first Exmortis game, actually. It's not like it was directly after or anything. All the windows in this church look like they were boarded up a long time ago. To keep something out or to keep something in? The old cliched question. Probably to keep something out. It's a church. Let's see. Can I leave here or? Oh, property of Lockyer Fields Ranch. I know that place. It's not far from here. But with the Exmortis fast approaching, how am I going to get there? Probably in that car. Right? Oh, here we go. Oh, fuck. Those fast-moving clouds can only mean one thing. They are coming for me, and it's not for a chat. I don't have much time. The houses on top of the hill have probably been abandoned long ago, or they're filled with corpses, just like I will be if I don't get as far away from here as possible. Look at it. The clouds are actually moving. The tracks on the ground indicate that this old rust bucket of a car still works. As old as it is, I will still need a key to start. I wish I knew how to hotwire this thing. Oh. An old rusted coat hanger appears to have been rigged up as the makeshift aerial for this old car. Okay, so we got an item. Uh-oh. This is bad. Running is not going to help. The Exmortis will be on me like a flash. I won't last 30 seconds. Fuck, 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 think, fool, think! Oh no.
You will die!
You will die! Play again from start of chapter. Oh man, I only found the coat hanger. Okay, so I was reading all the descriptions. Big mistake on my part. This is the booth that I was just in. There's nothing left for me in here. What the hell am I doing back in here? I must have lost my head for a moment. I better get this parchment and get the fuck out of here. What was I thinking? Okay, how do we get out of here? Okay. Coat hanger. Oh, success, I've got the keys. There's nothing left for me here now. Let's go. Great! It looks like the keys I found will fit the ignition. I just hope this thing is gassed up and ready to burn some rubber. I don't have much time left. Let's go. We beat the game. That's Exmortis 2, everybody. It's over. Xavier's legacy. Lockyer Fields Ranch. Here we go. I know someone's gonna be like, it's actually Lockyer. Or actually, like, the C and H are silent, so it's lawyer. But I don't know how to pronounce it. This is the LFR. We'll just call it the LFR. Nice middle ground for everybody. The document from the church led me to. What possible significance could this place have in the scheme of things? The door leads inside. I don't know what waits for me inside, or what I'm even looking for. I've got a feeling I won't have to wait long to find out. Let's go. What? The picture fell. This picture frame fell off the wall when the door slammed shut behind me. Let's take a look at it. It seems to be a very old portrait of a man and a small girl. Perhaps a previous occupant of this place. Anything else we can click on? This door is somewhat dissimilar to the one on my right, but it seems to be in working order. Well, let's click on this working door. An assortment of children's clothes, coats and jumpers hang in the closet. Oh, sorry, I just realized I was blocking this stuff. As much as I need a fresh set of clothes that aren't covered in blood, I doubt anything here fits me. There's a toolbox on the floor here. It adds a small padlock on it. Oh no, we need a code for this. We don't know it yet. Can I search through the pockets of the clothes? On the top shelf here sits a small pile of knitted woolen blankets. I welcome the smell of mothballs over the scent of rotting flesh that seems to infect everything else these days. I welcome the smell of mothballs. This double set of doors leads into an adjacent hall, if my take on the place from outside is correct. Okay. Wait, hang on. The portrait is back on the wall. That's odd. Right? It was on the ground. Did I put it back there? The door at the end of the corridor seems to be unlocked, but it is being blocked from the other side by something. Also, somebody just walked past it. Okay, it's blocked by something. The door on the right of the corridor leads into another room. Fuck. That poor bastard had his eyes, arms, legs, and heart ripped from him. Only the Exmortis are capable of this kind of cruelty. Oh boy. From the looks of the blood splatter on this chair, I assume that this poor soul was strung up before he was mutilated. Oof, one of these Sudoku puzzles sits on the table here. They used to be all the rage, but I never really got hooked. 3 inner squares of the puzzle are highlighted. Let's check it out. Okay, so this is for the lock on the box. So we gotta solve a Sudoku puzzle? That's fun. Okay. So we know it can't be 2, 5, 7, or 9, right? So this can't be 8. We know that for sure. It can't be 1. So it can't be 1 or 8. It could be 3, it could be 4, it could be, that's pretty much it though. It could be 3 or 4. Okay, I didn't see this, but there's a 3 here and a 3 here. So this has to be 3. It's the only possible scenario. So there's a 1 in this row and a 1 in this row. So this has to be 1. We've almost got it. So this is either 4, 6, or 8. This one right here can't be 6. This one right here can't be 8. Or 4. So this has to be 6 right here. Can I write this in? Oh, that helps so much. Oh, I can write them all in. I could solve the entire puzzle if I wanted to. What a waste of time that would be. So we just got 4 and 8. Is there any way that I can rule these out? No. I don't know. I'm not really gonna spend too much time on it. So it's either 4, 3, 1 or 8, 3, 1. Let's try 8, 3, 1 first. Oh, it's 8, 3, 1. Cool. There's a toolbox on the floor here. It's currently closed. There's an assortment of tools in this case. I see nothing of immediate use in here. Are you kidding me? Oh my god, we gotta find what we need to use a tool for and then come back for it once we know what tool we need. Oh, brother, okay. This lamp used to serve a purpose, but now it is nothing but a mere reminder of a life and a luxury that I once had. Okay. Cool it down with the philosophical waxing, dude. We gotta get through this. The set of shelves are littered with ornaments and various fine dining implements left by the former occupants of this house. Listen, man, as far as I'm concerned, you're talking on a need-to-know basis, all right? What do I need to know about this room? A large amount of this man's blood pools beneath his lifeless hanging form. I curse under my breath at the Exmortis for their inhuman brutality. Okay. Maybe it's this. This appears to be a service hatch or some kind of air conditioning duct. It's too dark to see anything in this shaft. I better not push forward without knowing where I'm going. Be nice if we had a flashlight. The panel for this crawl space has been pulled off and propped up against the corridor wall. Strange. Yes, it is rather strange, isn't it? What would I need a tool for here? Maybe like to cut him down, or... Maybe we don't need anything in here. The beam in the center of the room that this man hangs from doesn't even seem to be bowing slightly from the weight of his lifeless torso. We get it, man, he's dead. His lifeless torso. His lifeless form. Yeah, he's dead. The stairs lead up to a second level. They're not really covered in too much dust, so it seems this place may have only recently been occupied. Let's go upstairs. Oh, great. Oh, really? A door to my immediate right leads into an adjacent room. Thanks, I could discern that just from looking at it. Most of the roofing here seems rather water damaged. However, there is a section which appears to have been ripped at rather violently. Let's go into the immediate right. The sheets on the bed are soaked with the blood of this poor woman. Oh, that's the poor woman. The naked female corpse on the bed here has a massive hole in her chest. Okay, great. Pictures of local structures are hanging on the wall in here. Nice. Very cool. The lampshades on both sides of the bed are stained with blood. How did the blood get there? We need to get Dexter in here to analyze. The bedside table has a small drawer here. All it contains is a Bible. I'd take it with me if I was still a religious man. The bedside table has a small cupboard here. There's a slightly worn and tattered diary in here. Oh, great, here we go. 28th of January. Well, got digging around in the dusty old cellar today, and I came across a whole heap of old leather-bound books with each and every page blank. So I thought to myself that I might as well put one of them to good use. I guess I got myself a new diary to use. It is quite remarkable how good the condition the books are in, considering how old they look. It continually surprises me the amount of handy items I find in this place. I know this place has been under the care of my relatives for over 100 years, but you would think that in that time, someone would have taken the time to go through all the old crap from the previous occupants of this place. In any case, the unpacking process is almost complete. It still seems a little weird that my wife, kids, and I are now living in an old old Uncle Charlie's ranch. It's been years since I've last set foot in this place before he passed on. Charlie and I never really got on so well, so it was certainly a surprise to find out that he left this place to me in his will. I wonder what he meant by, only you can understand the ranch, and if you can't at first, you will learn to. Certainly seems to be a last little cryptic jab at me from beyond the grave. Anna's settling in okay. I had to do a hell of a lot of talking her around into moving away from the city. Wait, I had to do a hell of a lot of talking her around into moving away from the city. That's a hell of a sentence. She wasn't going to go without a fight, but I think she's finally happy that she broke away from her dead-end job and is kind of looking forward to the simpler life out here in the sticks. Okay, let's, next page. Wait, what? Do I click on the page? Okay. The kids are always keen for a change, so it didn't take much coercion to make them see this as a fresh new start. I think the thought of having horses, cows, and chickens to look after had made them forget that they would be rooming together for the first few weeks until I can get the rooms at the end of the hall emptied out, cleaned, and covered. This old, like 40s newsy voice that I'm doing is not working out. Cleaned and converted to top quality living quarters. Well, got a lot of work ahead of me in the next few months, but I feel good. This was a good choice. A welcome change. I just hope Anna relaxes in her new home. Yeah, how much of this are we going to read? We're going to read a lot of it. Oh my God. Dude, what the fuck? All right, I hate to do this, but we're not gonna sit here for 2 hours reading this. Let's skim it. 30th of January, I got a fair amount of work done today. I finally finished the fencing on the southern field. The oddest thing happened as I was finishing up. I had a strange compulsion to look back at the house, and I could have sworn that I saw someone watching me from behind the window in the room at the end of the hall. Anna still seems a little standoffish about the move. She's not 100% convinced that we are making the right move here. I told her to give it time. 6-year-old mind is an enigma to me sometimes. Let's see. Snapped at Zoe today, which is very unlike me. The house is already affecting them. 3rd of February, it's been a strange few days. We had an old picture of a man and a girl hanging up near the front door. That's what we have currently. I don't know who they are or what purpose Uncle Charlie had with such an old portrait in the house lobby, but I felt it was time for something a little more modern. Took down the portrait, mounted the family photo we had taken this past Christmas, got up in the morning, but found that old portrait hanging up in the exact same spot which I had removed it from. No sign of the family photo I'd replaced it with. I see. Asked Anne and the kids about it. They claimed they knew nothing, but found the photo in the cellar with its frame all smashed up on the floor. I flew off the handle a little bit. Once again, Zoe and Daniel both ran sobbing to their rooms again. I see. Claire just sat in the living room glued to the damn idiot box TV. Kids. Placed the photo. Let's see. Swear I'm losing my mind. 12th of February, the local sheriff dropped by today asking questions about if we had seen anything unusual. I told him that we hadn't. When I asked him what was wrong, he let slip that in a neighboring settlement, a whole bunch of people were found dead, ripped to shreds by some frenzied assailants, were his exact words. 14th of February, Valentine's Day. This will be nice and romantic. I found a clipping in the local paper about the murders in San Raimi, which is, of course, a reference to Sam Raimi, the director of Evil Dead and Evil Dead 2, and Army of Darkness, but I don't know, I didn't really like that one that much. 28 people dead. Demons from Hell? What is going on? Let's see, did some cleaning, and did another for first in this house. Anna and I made love this morning. Okay, I've had about enough of that. Let's see. 15th of February, I woke up last night with a fright. Standing over Anna and I in our bedroom was Claire. She said that she couldn't sleep, that a man kept sitting on the end of her bed looking out the window. I was still half asleep at the time, but I could have sworn that the stuck door at the end of the hall was open just a crack on the way to Claire's room. It didn't occur to me at the time to check on it again. All I wanted to do was go back to bed. 18th of February, more murders. Oof. A town further away had been hit and virtually wiped out just as San Raimi had. I didn't mention to Anna anything about the new lot of murders. There's no use in making her any jitterier than she already is. That's a weird word, jitterier. I don't think I've ever said jitterier in my life. Claire's still having problems sleeping. She keeps talking of a man sitting on her bed and looking out to the back through her window. The horses also seem very spooked of late. 23rd of February, the sunset was amazing today. It was the most beautiful pinkish red sky that I have ever seen. 24th of February, the damn door just won't move. I've tried oiling it, removing the latching, chiseling the frame. I'm getting over it very quickly. Claire's taking a turn for the worse. Even though she's not complaining about her mysterious man on the bed, she has basically shut down. The most conversation I can get out of her is an occasional grunt. She spends most of the day sitting in front of the TV when she's not in school. I'm gonna take her to a doctor. 26th of February, new hunter, 500 dead. This is very concerning. These murders are not slowing up. If anything, they are increasing at an exponential rate. Let's see. Something else that I've noticed of recently is that the daytime sky isn't as blue as it used to be, almost purple in appearance at times. 2nd of March, I spoke to Claire today and got a semi-coherent response from her. It's the first sustainable conversation I've had with her in quite a while. Anna noticed that her bed seemed undisturbed last night, almost as if she didn't sleep in it. Anna convinced me to buy a gun today. Definitely not a gun person, but yeah, he decided to do it. Let's see. Another attack. 5th of March, I woke up very early this morning because I thought I heard a noise coming from the end of the hall. I picked up the gun and cautiously stalked from room to room, checking on everyone. Daniel and Zoe were fast asleep, but imagine my surprise when I got to Claire's room. She wasn't asleep in her bed. In fact, she was wide awake, sitting on the corner of her bed, just looking out the window to the back field. I approached her and put my hand on her head, which was soaked with an ice-cold sweat. She jumped, startled with my presence, and let out a shrill, high-pitched scream unlike anything I had ever heard before. All she could do was cowl away from me against the wall and scream as loud as a banshee. The commotion woke everyone up, and soon I had Anna sprinting to my side in a dazed and frightened state. It took about 15 minutes to snap Claire out of whatever episode she had been having and return her to her normal state. There was a startling moment when I could have sworn I saw a reflection in the glass of her window of someone moving behind me in the shadows. There just isn't something right about that room. We hustled Claire into Daniel and Zoe's room, where she spent the rest of the morning sleeping. Anna and I both decided that we would move Claire's belongings out of that room and let her sleep with her siblings indefinitely. It would be tight and stuffy for them, but Claire seemed more than happy to hear the news of the move. Creepy. 11th of March. News has just come in. Los Angeles and San Francisco are under siege from these marauding killers. Wow. Anna has family in LA but cannot contact them. The broadcasts are apparently under restrictions as they showed the graphic nature of the images. I went down to the local mall and bought a corkboard, which I've set up in Claire's old bedroom. Started clipping articles and pinning them up there. We're gonna read them. Let's see. 12th of March, LA is a graveyard and San Francisco isn't much better off at the moment. Millions of lives lost. The president made a statement today, but it was all rhetoric about defending our way of life and making sure justice would be served. The military has been engaging these creatures. Anna received words that her brother Joe got out alive, but doesn't look good for the rest of her family. This is insane. 16th of March, we nuked them. I can't freaking believe it. We actually dropped a nuke on them on our own soil of a residential land of the upper Pacific coast. After only one day of engaging the enemy. Anna's brother Joe is driving here. He's gonna stay with us for a while. I'm gonna set him up in Claire's old room. Great idea. Yeah, fantastic. Let's do that. 17th of March, St. Paddy's Day. Well, we've just been advised that the nuke has not stemmed the flow of violence. In fact, I think the words that were used were completely ineffectual. We're being told these things, which are being referred to as Exmortis, have virtually wiped out most of our towns, villages, and cities along the Pacific coast and are heading north up into Canada and back east to our other coast. All right. Let's see. Joe arrived today. All he had was his clothes on his back and the car he came in. The stories he had to tell us were just dreadful. Even he only just managed to escape the maelstrom. Apparently he got a frantic, garbled phone call from his and Anna's father telling him to get out of the city immediately with no questions asked. All he could say was that his father sounded more scared than he had ever heard. He could hear his mother sobbing and praying in the background all through the call. Anna's taken this all remarkably well. She was shuffling around the cellar this morning and emerged with an old Bible. She's never really been a big religious nut, but when I caught her sneaking it into the bedside table drawer, she told me that having it close made her feel better. 18th of March, something has Joe scared more than he was when he arrived. He won't talk about it, but he's adamant that he doesn't want to sleep in Claire's old room again. I have noticed that he's sporting some pretty vicious bruises on his face, arms, and ribs which weren't there yesterday. When I asked him about it, he'd either change subject, ignore the line of questioning, or just pretend he didn't hear and go off on tangents. We've relocated him to the living room as a temporary arrangement for now. 20th of March, it's official, Washington has fallen, and in Air Force One failed to make it off the tarmac before it was set upon. What hope is there left for us? The mood here in the house is quite melancholy. We've been told at the current rate of advancement, and if the Exmortis follow an assumed course sweeping down the East Coast and then back across west towards us, we only have another 3 weeks tops. 31st of March, New York has fallen, millions upon millions more dead. I try to continue collecting as many news articles as possible. TV is down to only a couple of local channels. Suffice to say the word programming doesn't exist anymore. 14th of April, I still keep track of what's happening in other countries as much as possible, but as I mentioned previously, information is getting much harder to come by as more and more countries are overrun. Anna is the last remaining optimist among us. I would have lost my mind a few weeks ago if it wasn't for a positive influence. With every day that passes, they get closer and I can feel my sanity slipping just a little bit more. 18th of April, electricity went out today. At least we had the forethought to stock up on batteries with a few essential items like flashlights. What about your refrigerator? 23rd of April, Anna spent most of the day clearing out a lot of junk from the cellar to try and make it into a makeshift bomb shelter. A few creatures have been spotted and dashing across the open country only 50 miles from here. So while we are now in harm's way, the Exmortis must have spread pretty thin in our locality. Anna's of the opinion that if they aren't in such great numbers around here, we might stand a chance if we hold up in the cellar. I'm not so sure myself, but it's definitely a better option than just staying out in the open waiting to be slaughtered. Okay, everybody's got CB radios. 12th of May, the Colbys are dead. They didn't even have time to get to their shelter. After a few hours of waiting anxiously in our shelter after the alarm, we broke radio silence to check on everyone's welfare. The Colbys were the only ones that didn't answer. Joe, Bob, and I geared up and drove out to the Colby house, and nothing could have prepared me for what we saw. Greg, Karen, and his kids were just torn to shreds. Karen's torso was strung up from the tree out the back, and her legs were just a mutilated mess at the foot of the stump. Found bits of Greg scattered around his back porch and the kids. Oof. Yeah, they're all dead. 23rd of May, since the Colbys, things have been pretty quiet. Our provisions have started to get fairly scarce. 20th of May, as much as I hated doing it for so many reasons, Joe and I had to return to the Colbys' house to raid their supplies. 9th of June, it's almost been a month since the last alarm was sounded, but Joe claims to have heard some rather worrying news. This could all be hearsay, but he was told this is purely the calm before the storm. 13th of June, nowhere to run and hide this time. The clouds on the eastern horizon have been getting larger since my last entry. The buildup of creatures around that direction must be massive. I don't think hiding in the cellar is going to work this time around. The Exmortis are in a final sweep, and I don't think they will leave any stone unturned. So then Joe left, and he's probably dead. Great. Okay, so Cliff Notes version of things. Deepest lore. Let's go ahead and check another one. The scuffed up door to the left has a particularly pungent odor seeping out from the crack between it and the floor. Children, no matter how many times I bear witness to such inhumanities, I just can't get used to it. The Exmortis must have swept through here recently. A Zippo lighter rests on the floor in front of the bed. Let's take that. Okay, what happened to the coat hanger, by the way? Huh. There is a rather large wet patch on the floor at the entrance of this particular room. The source can probably be found behind this door. Whatever all that blood is from is probably behind this shower curtain. The bath is stained with blood of a recent kill, but whoever's blood this is no longer in the tub. There's a fair amount of blood on the floor here. Whoever it belongs to was probably dragged to the bathtub from the looks of it. The toilet is splattered with a small amount of blood. There's no point in opening the lid. What do I expect to find there other than the obvious? I flushed it anyway. It seems the water supply to this place is still functional. This tap seems to be working just fine. Wow. The glow of the occasional flash of lightning in the sky lights up the room. Okay. Well, we'll just go and leave. What about this one? There's another door on the far end of the left hall of this corridor. The apparition I just saw was looking out this window. What could she have been looking at? All I can see is the scorched earth and the distant horizon. The blood of the little girl stains the wall and floor here. She didn't even see it coming. I can still feel her melancholy presence in this room. Did she drop anything, or? It's a corkboard hanging on the wall. It's covered in newspaper clippings of recent events. Probably right up until the press stopped running, at least. America at war. This is the front page of a newspaper with a picture of the first nuke drop on the Exmortis. No hope. What looks like blood. Oh, there's a key hanging from a pin on the corkboard. Okay, so you get it. Like, everywhere's taken over. Clearly there's some kind of entity in this house that doesn't agree with my presence here. Nevertheless, this door just doesn't want to budge open. Okay, even though we have the key, let's try to go into the service hatch. Zippo lighter. Good one.
I've tasted your soul. It is a beacon of light in a time of such darkness. Yours is just I spent eternity in engineering. My name is Xavier. Any reference to my word
Interesting. This shaft takes a turn to the right further up ahead. Light streams into the crawl space through the vent. Beyond its haze lies another room, but I can't seem to make anything out from here. The vent is fastened to the wall too tightly to remove the screws with my fingers. Wow, sounds like we need a screwdriver. Maybe it's in the toolbox that you refuse to take anything from. There's a screwdriver in here that may be of use in opening that vent in the crawl space. Let's take it. Here we go. Sounds like birds. The body of a man is slumped over the table. From here, it looks like a self-inflicted gun wound did the damage. A bloodied gun lies on the table next to the corpse. It appears to be the weapon he used to take his own life. The gun is loaded with 5 bullets. Let's take the gun. Let's see. What else is here? The door leads outside and to the back of this place. Things probably won't be any safer outside than it is in here. Right? It's just the kitchen sink. There's nothing special in it from the looks of it. Oh, okay. We can still turn on the light though. This window looks out to the north. There's not much to see with the exception of the numerous rotting animal carcasses littering the field. Great. The overhead lights used to be electrical, but have since been converted to house small candles since the grid went out, I presume. Okay, so we've got a gun, a key. Those are the only 2 items we haven't used, because we've used the screwdriver and the lighter. I'm assuming that we can still use them for something, but... the urn is filled with what I assume to be the ashes of a former resident here. Charles is engraved on its exterior. Yeah, it's Uncle Charlie. You read the diary, right? We both read it. It looks like the door of the hallway. I can't use it at the moment as it seems to be wedged solid against a wooden plank. Ah, this plank propped up against the door would explain why I couldn't get to this room from the hallway. I moved out of the way. Now that the plank has been removed, I should be able to come and go as I please. Great. Oh, you can go outside. The rear of this place looks as torn up as the front does. One hell of a horde of creatures must have torn this place up in a frenzy recently. The set of stairs leading back to the grisly scene in the kitchen. And what is this? The door of the cellar is currently closed. This key I have fits perfectly into its lock. Let's go. The darkness of the cellar sends a chill up my spine. There's a set of stairs that lead down into the shadows. Wow, okay. Nice foundation work. I'm glad I forked out the dollars to have my old house done by professionals. Ha! Not that it really matters much now. Okay. The large polymer bottle on the ground here is empty, but from the smell of it, it probably was filled with petroleum once. A hot water tank and a gas cylinder sit in the far side of the cellar. Unfortunately, a warm shower is out of the question, as both units are no longer functional. A battery-powered CB radio sits on a table against the wall. Here we go. jisgames.com? Huh. That's interesting. Okay. Another stack of books sits on the table to my right. A lot of these are old, but blank and bound by leather. It's a pile of cardboard boxes filled with clothing, heirlooms, and other generally uninteresting items. Someone was preparing to spend a lot of time down here. I can see that. Is there anything I can click on? Besides the radio. Another cardboard box lies open to my right. This one is filled with cables and various electronic devices. All of these are useless to me unless the power is magically restored. Oh, I can read these books. Vetus Hostilis Exmortis. Oh, another one by Xavier. Let's see how long this one is. Fairly long. Okay. My dear reader, many years have passed since I cast my thoughts to the memories of my demons, for my story is one of Captain Torment. Years of tortured labor to stay one step ahead of the constant threat of lunacy. Indeed, I pain to recall the torment endured for those years around the end of my young daughter Gwen's life. Yeah, we've read all about that in the previous game, Xavier. For she was lost to my blade, and it pained me deeply, however, as much as my hand was forced by them.
My captors, yes, the demons that haunted my house, the possession of my poor daughter, they turned her into a puppet, held her soul for ransom in return for the translation of the text titled The Book of Exmortis. Of course I did as they wanted, however, I fear that such work will come with dire consequences, if not for I, then certainly for mankind. When they returned her to me for a mere minute, only to take her away from me again, I realized that Gwen was gone and never to return. I suppose in a way I wasn't killing my daughter, I was killing the demons that took hold of her. I digress. My purpose for penning this text is not to alleviate the pained memories I carry with me, nor is it to gain unwarranted sympathy for my eternal plight. I ultimately utilize this medium to serve a dire warning to whatever years of humanity we as a species have left on this earth. An unspeakable evil resides in the hills, not half a day's trek from my current abode here in Lockyer Fields. I have witnessed first hand the cruelty of the entities I have come to know as the Exmortis. I can only further elaborate on the threat that these beings pose upon humanity once I have summarized the nature of this beast. To understand the history of one's enemy is to be one step closer to salvation. The following is a summation of the Book of Exmortis. Well, we've already read the Book of Exmortis in the previous, sorry, I keep exiting. I keep thinking that this arrow, you can't see it. This arrow right here means next page. Keep making that mistake. Well, we don't need to read this again because we've already read the Book of Exmortis. We know about Kafafta and Azrael and the rise of Vlau. So we're just gonna continue where Xavier comes back in. The Book of Exmortis is in its original Aramaic form, went on to detail the further ritualistic orientation of the link between our world and the spiritual plane, described quite frequently as the Ancient Land. I dare not put pen to paper again for the reproduction of the incantation of the hand, for fear of my tainted soul. Following the tragedy that was my daughter Gwen. You ever gonna get over it? I'm over it. I was felt compelled to continue my work looking for an answer to this evil. I spent day after day translating more and more ancient occult texts pertaining to the dark arts which surround these entities. For years, I worked through each book of the archaic collection until I came across a precious find. Imagine my surprise when I located a text which could lead to the downfall of the dominion of Exmortis. It was a text that I dared not translate whilst in the captivity of that isolated abode for fear of exposing to them my knowledge of the script titled Vetus Adversarius. Translated, the Ancient Adversary. We never would have been able to guess that. Over time, I worked to shake their attention, and when I finally broke free, I fled the wilderness, actually. I didn't flee to the wilderness. I fled the wilderness and returned to civilization, eventually relocating here to a beautiful Lockyer Fields homestead. It was here that I began to unravel the work I was forced to complete for the demonic Exmortis. I had managed to escape with the one text that could aid in my pursuit to right the wrong that I had been an integral part of. Within the pages of the Vetus Adversarius, I had discovered a great many things. Most important of all is that the source of the demon's power was also their weakness. The man who will become the hand. His soul is the path between the spirit world and our own. Sever the hand, and the link is broken. From Vetus Adversarius. The door was unlocked by the blood of 5, protected by fiends once dead, now alive, circled by blood from the dark ancient rite. The mortal man makes the ultimate sacrifice. That rhyme was a little A weapon of fire takes a 5th for its own, creating a path to where the dark spirits roam. His soul will pass through the ethereal gate. Beyond it lies his God-given fate. A dagger of faith shall sever the hand, mortally pierced by the soul-bearing man. The light of the path cut off from the land, reducing the scorch to fire, ash, and sand. For many years I have studied this passage from every possible angle, like this. I have noted that the blood of 5 is once again prominent in creating the link between our physical world and the spirit realm. But what of this mortal man's ultimate sacrifice? What of this dagger that the passage speaks of? And who is this man that the script references? I cannot answer these questions, but I am certain all will become clear when the time is right. All I can do is make available the tools required for our Savior to rid the land of this plague when it inevitably comes to be. I know now that this is my purpose in what little years of life I have remaining. Now more than ever, I believe that within our faith, we will find the answer.
The Searle of Life. Portal to the spirit realm by an act of ultimate sacrifice involving the use of the weapon of fire. The weapon of fire, you mean like a gun? I see. So, okay. I know I had to read this, but why? Let's see, dagger. Within our faith, we will find the answer. Oh, crap. Oh shit, the Exmortis are getting closer. I don't have much time. I better get back to the house and figure out where to go from there quickly. I actually know exactly where to go. It's in the Bible. Within our faith, we find the answer, right? That's where it is. Here it is. Wait. Not that. There's a Bible. There's a suspicious looking Bible inside. Oh, now it's suspicious, huh? Now it's suspicious.
With this dagger, sever the link and the demon horde will fall. Within your faith lies the answer.
Yeah, I get it. I understand the riddle. That's how I found the dagger. A strange looking dagger was hidden inside this Bible. Within our faith, we will find the answer. It all makes sense now. How'd you get here, dude? Okay. So now what? Oh.
Come, quickly, for we don't have much time.
Okay, Xavier. The apparition of Xavier Rahayim stands in the doorway at the end of the hall. Better follow him quickly. The Exmortis are almost here!
Sacrifice.
Ah, I'm the last one, huh? Sacrifice is written in blood on the wall. What is this sacrifice I have to make? I don't have much time to figure it out. A wooden chair sits in the middle of the ceremonial circle. I guess I'm supposed to sit here, but what am I supposed to do? What is this sacrifice I have to make? Use it on yourself. A weapon of fire. This gun has taken 4 innocent lives. I have to take my own life with this gun to open the portal. That's the ultimate sacrifice. I'm the 5th innocent. Okay, so it's just like the first one with the 5 innocents, right? Dominion. So this is the next chapter. Oh no, I remember this crap. This is amazing. Never could I have imagined that a world such as this existed. There's just empty space as far as the eye can see. I can't imagine spending eternity here. Yeah, I can't either. It appears to be some kind of beacon floating in this strange netherworld. There is a familiar looking ring of symbols orbiting around its axis. Okay, so you have to get the symbols onto all of the beacons. There we go. So I remember completely overcomplicating this. We just have to do the same thing. There's 5 of them now, right? So we just gotta transfer it all the way back. There we go. Yeah, I took maybe 20 minutes to figure that out. This is the doorway back to the Earth realm. So this is how the Exmortis are recorporealizing and flying across the planet. Well, here goes nothing. The symbols mean what was, what is, and what will be. The last 2 read Ancient Dominion. I don't know how I can read them. I just can. Maybe it's this place. Okay. The final 2 beacons float like buoys, drifting on the swell of the oceans I know so well. Beyond this point lies my world, Earth, or what is left of it, I guess. Okay, we can't interact with them, so let's go back through the doorway. Here goes nothing, as the character says. Oh, evil face. A long dead corpse is slumped against the wall. Empty shell casings rest in his lap. Must have been one hell of a last stand. What a way to go. A box half full with bullets sit next to the corpse. It appears that they are suitable for use in my gun. I better reload in case I run into trouble down here. Okay. We good? Yeah? F me, what a trip! I don't know where I am, but I've somehow regained my physical form. The hair on my neck is staying on end. This place feels inherently evil. Wow. The tunnel behind me appears to have recently fallen victim to a cave-in. My only way out of here is to push ahead through this archway. Oh, we're shooting. Be the hand of Exmortis. Bullets don't seem to affect him. Everything I've read refers to the ceremonial dagger I'm carrying. All I have to do now is use this dagger and it'll be all over, I hope. Sorry, I thought we had to shoot him. We just had to shoot the little flunkies. What's going on? Human remains are scattered throughout the tunnel on both sides. I don't know how they got here, but it must have been one hell of a slaughter. The tunnel seems to stretch on forever into the darkness, but I have nothing left to fear. I've finished what I came here to do, and now I venture onwards into the unknown. Okay, so we're still going, okay? Another tunnel stretches off to the darkness ahead. Okay, I have no idea where I am, and no known way of telling how long this tunnel system goes for. A set of cement rock steps lead upward over the crest. I feel a very faint breeze against my skin. I must be on the right path to getting out of wherever here is. A very faint trace of light creeps over the crest here. I think I'm close to getting out of here finally. Hello. I finally found the exit, but a familiar figure blocks the doorway. It suddenly occurs to me that this is the entity I spoke to in the church. I've got so many questions for him.
Oh, Mr. Hannay, how good it is to see you again. Congratulations are definitely in order. You have accomplished something the combined forces of humanity could not. I must admit, when we last met in the church, I was unsure if you were the right person for the job. However, it seems my faith in you wasn't misplaced after all. Your actions have paved the way for a prosperous new age. Which reminds me, I must also remember to thank Xavier for his role in this. How is he, anyway? Still moaning about losing his little whore of a daughter?
Yeah, you know him.
You soul bearers. So complicated. Yet, once again I find myself surprised in the ease at which your kind can be manipulated. Much easier than my former brethren within the Exmortis.
Could it be?
Why the look of surprise? Surely you must have had some suspicions that I, Lord Blay, was the one who set you upon this path. Calm now, child. My fellow Exmortis deposed me as their leader many eons ago. Wouldn't it be rather unwise to put myself in a position for the same inevitable treachery to take place? Only now do you realize I needed you to remove my enemies and clear the path for my return to rule over a world which has always been rightfully mine. And it certainly seems that you came through for me with flying colors. So, Mr. Hannay, for your role in this, I commend you. For your part in this, I applaud you. And for your help in this, I grant you a gift. A quick death.
I love the villain monologue at the end. Alright, right, so that was Exmortis 2. Yeah, I like this one a lot more than the first one, actually. Not that the first one's bad, it's just, this one seems to have a lot more meat to it. Created with Adobe Photoshop CS2 and Adobe Flash Professional 8. Ooh, CS2. I had Photoshop CS2 back in the day. Oh, Fruity Studios. Oh, Fruit Loops. Huh. Cool, well, yeah, so aside from the cheesy villain monologue, it's just like, yes, yes, it was my plan all along, and all that stuff. Yeah. I think this one's better than the first one. It's less dependent on the diaries that you find and basically just reading the game. You actually have an inventory, and there's more of a feeling of progression when you play through the game. I like the jump scares. I mean, they're a lot better than the first game too. I like the one, the vent. I remember that one. And I remember the one at the end in the tunnel. So yeah, it's just a better game than the first, in my opinion. Now there is an Exmortis 3. I don't think we'll be playing it. I've been told repeatedly not to bother, so I won't. So this will wrap it up for the series for me. Not the Still Scary series, just Exmortis 1 and 2. But yeah, does it hold up in 2019? I mean, as well as a Flash horror game from 2006 could. I do think it's a scarier game than the first. I don't think it's necessarily scary today. It's just hard because it's a Flash game. It's a point and click. It's not a 3D, fully immersive first-person experience like a lot of my favorite horror games are. So it's hard to really talk about like whether or not it's still scary today. I think Exmortis and Exmortis 2 have definitely aged better than The House and The House 2. And those are the quickest comparisons that I can make, you know. But when it comes to this style of experience, I think the Deep Sleep games have them beat. The ones by Script Welder. And I know everybody's asking me to play Don't Escape 4, but that game is like 6 to 8 hours long, and I just can't. Alright guys, well let me know what you thought in the comments about Exmortis 2, and is it still scary in 2019? I don't know. If you want to check out other videos that we've done in this series, there's a link to that in the description. And let me know what suggestions you have for future episodes of Still Scary. But before you leave your suggestions, I have to set some parameters because you guys are all over the place in the comments with this stuff. First of all, it has to be an older game. Saying replay Resident Evil 7, that's not a Still Scary video, guys. It's like a couple years old. I'm talking like 5+ years old. How about that? Okay? It has to be, preferably, it should be an indie horror game that I've already played on the channel. That's part of the whole fun, is revisiting a game that I played long ago when some of you guys may have found my channel. So, not something I've never played before. Not like a AAA horror game. Like, oh, replay Silent Hill 3. That doesn't fulfill the criteria for the idea for this series. So there you go. There's just, I'm trying just to give like 2 rules, and we'll see how it goes. But yeah, let me know what you guys think in the comments. I'll be reading them, and I'll see you guys on Thursday for a brand new video. Think critically.